What's up, everybody? Hey, extra special guest here. You know, the M1 iMac just came out, and I had to bring some brains, some intelligence, some just like all-around tech goodness. So Krystal Lora in the house. Krystal, thank you so much for coming out and hanging out.
Wow, thank you for having me, Brian. That was always such a lovely intro.
Oh, man. You know, Krystal, I mean, we've both been doing this tech thing for a while, and so we've actually never... Well, we did meet at a Samsung event kind of briefly, but we've never actually, you know, a lot of times us as tech, I guess, YouTubers, creators, or whatever you want to call us, we don't really get to actually meet and talk. And this is really the first time we're meeting and talking. So this is awesome for me.
I know. It's true. I was thinking the same thing. I feel like I've known you, but it's weird because like we really only met that one time. But no, it's cool to be here.
So thanks for coming. You know, for people, I would love for you to actually tell people maybe if they aren't familiar with your work and some of the stuff you do, where they can find you, and just kind of, you know, you got to talk about yourself a little bit right now.
Yeah. Well, I guess we do the similar thing, tech videos on YouTube. I'm also on Instagram, a little bit of Twitter, even though I'm not as active as I would like to be. But yeah, you can find me at Krystal Lora on most platforms, except Twitter is backwards, Lora_Krystal. Got to fix that. But yeah.
And you know what? I do want to say your channel, not only is it awesome, but I really appreciate like you embracing the whole idea of being a creator because, you know, during really personal tough times, COVID, and during Black Lives Matter, you put up 2 videos. And I love the fact that, you know, there's a lot of creators out there that don't want to touch that stuff, right? They kind of don't want to get involved and shy away from it. And so I'm just saying, you know, to me, when I see that, you kind of put a stamp on your channel being like, look, I'm a human. I am more than just someone who talks about tech, and you can either choose to listen to this or not, but this is part of my story. So I just want to say like that was really impressive, and just want to commend you on being able to open yourself up like that, because we always hear like stick to tech, and you as a woman probably get other types of BS that, you know, in comments. And so for you to kind of just be like, no, I'm gonna do it my way, I appreciate that.
Thank you. No, that was definitely different for me too, because I'm naturally a more like private person. I don't like share too much of like my personal life online, but it just felt like wrong not to speak up when there was like so much going on that was like affecting me personally too. So thank you. No, that was definitely harder for me, but felt like I had to do it.
That was awesome. So, you know, we're both here to talk about the M1 iMac, and what was fun is that you and I were actually in the same Apple briefing together. So yes. I was like, oh, come on now. Like, this makes sense for us just to get together and talk about it. So, you know, you're the guest, and I thought it'd be fun just for us to kind of ping pong back and forth, talk about what we like, what we don't like, what we wish was different. So I'm going to throw the ball to you first and say, okay, Krystal, you got the M1 iMac. What's the first thing that stuck out to you?
I think like the size, I know we were expecting like, okay, like we're seeing it in pictures and video, but until you see it in person is not the same thing. And just like actually seeing like the thinness, the famous chin, everything in person was just so much more like, it was just much more beautiful and so much more exciting. But I think, I don't know, I've just been exciting to just been like working on it, like editing on it. I've kind of just like full force, like for this entire week that we've had it, just like done everything on here, even our video call right now. So it's been good to just like completely migrate to that.
Is there anything that has kind of surprised you about it, working with it? You know, because like you, I'm not, how should I say this? I don't want to call out reviewers, but I feel like I could tell some people didn't really use the machine to like do things on it, right? Yeah. And so are there things that you found that stuck out to you about actually now using this machine?
Well, for me, like it was a very similar experience, minus the storage, which of course you can like bump up to a terabyte. It was just very, I don't know, it just felt like I was using my MacBook, but with a bigger screen. So in that sense, it didn't really differ too much. I did have a couple issues, like it was just like straight up like storage stuff, because I'm just used to having like at least a terabyte on the machine, and like I talk too much in my videos, so those files are always humongous. So that was the only thing for me, because there was one time where I was editing, I'm gonna include this in my full review, I was like, dang, like I kind of forgot, like I was doing everything on here and I was running out of storage, and my Final Cut library like didn't fully save, so I lost all my cuts, and I was like, oh god, I have to re-edit this video. But it was all good. I did it and didn't, you know, got to just keep that in mind for next time. But other than that, it's been a very like similar experience, I guess, like performance wise to my MacBook Pro.
Yeah, I thought what was crazy is I don't know if this has happened to you yet or not, but during the entire time that I've used it, I edited like a video that had, I guess, three streams of 4K on it. Even during the export, the fan never went off. In fact, I've been using this for over now, I guess, a week and a half now. I've never heard the actual fan like set off and ever feel out. Has the fan gone off for you at all?
No, and the same thing with me. Like, I was doing like 2 streams of 4K, and then like I kind of, because I don't know if I mentioned this to you, but I edited a cover, like a music cover for my sister, where we just like plopped the iMac on the ground, used like webcam on there, and like was getting a couple shots with the FXX. So I was streaming like probably like 2 or 3 streams, and yeah, I didn't hear anything. So knock on wood, hopefully it stays that way because it's beautiful to have a silent machine.
It's super quiet. What else kind of stuck out for me? I mean, I think that it's cool that you're using. It's funny when you said, "Oh, I'm using the webcam or the FaceTime camera from the iMac for our Zoom." Like you're actually using it. And the first thing when I saw your image quality, I was like, "Oh wow, it's really good." Like we could just use your Zoom camera shot as a shot if we have to. Where in the past, we were using like a laptop with a 720p FaceTime camera. I'd be like, we're gonna have to use a different shot here.
I know, right? I'm just waiting for the day that we get like 4K cameras on these, like just like our iPhones. I feel like it's right around the corner. If they can do it on our phone, why not on here?
And you actually said, well, from what I'm gathering, you use the iMac to shoot some shots for your sister's cover?
Yes, yeah.
Like use the camera of it, right?
That was like the main cam for it, and then I just like getting some shots in the background, but that was like the center of the whole thing, and yeah, it was really cool. We also used a microphone on the iMac, so it was like mic and webcam. And I was really surprised. I think the one thing I would change, we would probably like have to like have her sing closer because it was a complete live cover. So she should have probably like gone a little closer for some of the quieter parts in the song, but it was really cool. Like I just love like stepping outside of the box with it and just like really pushing it and see what we can do with it.
No, that's awesome. I have a quick question. I can't see underneath your hair, but do you have AirPods Pro that like get loose all the time?
Yes, that's why I feel like I keep adjusting them.
No, it happens, dude. It happens to me all the time. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna guess she has AirPods Pro because, like, throughout our whole thing, we're gonna be like, and it's like most people that know, right? When you, especially, I don't know what it is. It's because like our ears move when we talk, but my left one gets loose all the time. I don't know about. Is there a specific ear of yours or both?
Now that you said that, I feel like it's loosening slowly. I feel like it's like creeping down. No, it's true though. Like when I'm talking, because like when I'm working out with them, like I'm fine. I guess we're just like straight running. It's just it stays perfectly put. But right now it's just constantly like getting out a little bit.
Yeah, I was like, oh, she's dealing with the same things that I am. I'm like, I feel her pain. The iMac, the M1 iMac, I was surprised. Right out of the gates, there was at least a vocal tech community group that was so against the colors of the iMac. They were almost like against the entire design. They didn't like the fact that there was a logo. There was no logo on it. They didn't like the chin, which is quite honestly iconic to the iMac design. And maybe they got caught up in the renders. From your perspective, when you heard all that initial heat and now that you have it, what were you thinking at that time?
I just feel like the tech community, like I feel like I always say this, but there's always like, it's never a middle ground or people like will never fully appreciate. There's always a side to like, oh, like this is awful and wrong. But I don't know. I didn't pay too much into that whole heat of the things and side of things, and just like I'm just gonna wait till it's in front of me to make my opinion on it. Mm-hmm. Even though like I was already like hyped up for it seeing it.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, kind of just
I think what I thought is, I even had said it. It's weird that in this community in general, there's great things about it, but there seems to be like if a company doesn't release something that you want to buy or that fits into what you want, like there's backlash, right? It can actually still be great without it being your thing, but when it's not that thing for people, they just decide to like crap on it. I'm like, there is, to your point, it's obviously there is some toxicity in there, but there's no balance. Like,
Yeah.
guess what? The iMac, I'm waiting before I make any type of Pro Mac purchasing decision this year to see what everything that Apple puts out there. I'm not going to immediately jump on the iMac. I love the iMac. My lady, she loves the iMac, but she's not sure if she wants to get one because she wants to get into doing some video editing. And I'm not going to make her edit my videos for the record. I don't want that to happen. That's not why she's doing it. Like, but it's just interesting how there's an instant knee-jerk reaction like, this sucks, this is ugly, just because it's not your thing. I don't know.
Yeah, it always seems to be the way. Like, there's never just like a full, like, okay, like, might not be my thing, but I can see, like, appreciate the coolness. Because that's the thing with, like, there's all these, like, phones being released all the time. And, like, there's always things, like, I appreciate about everything. Whenever there's anything, any type of innovation in any sense, I think it's cool. So it'd be nice to just appreciate the beauty in things and the things that are moving forward. But, yeah, no, I feel the same way.
I mean, people that follow you or don't follow you might not know that, like, you have a history of not just Apple tech, like, just tech in general, Android stuff as well. So, there's always this assumption that just because we like something from Apple that, oh, you're on their payroll or you're a fanboy or fangirl, and they do some great things. They do some things that also aren't that great as well. But overall, I mean, they're a company that has elevated, like, technology, even from, like, a lifestyle perspective. And I know that you do kind of, like, a lot of lifestyle content. How do you see Apple the way that it fits in from that perspective?
I feel like it's, like, completely in that, like, it's a lifestyle type of thing. Like, I feel like Apple Watch is, like, a thing that people wear because it looks cool too, besides all the other techie stuff that it can do. But no, yeah, I think that's why I'm, like, I gravitate towards it so much. Also because it just fits with everything, like using Final Cut and, iPhone, iMessage, like, from computer, like, all of the what's that word? I'm like, the synergy with it all.
Yeah.
I think that's
synergy. You're right.
Yeah. I know. I think that's why, like, I gravitate towards it so much. But especially, like, I was looking at my videos, I was like, damn, I gotta, like, switch it up a little because, like, I know I do cover, like, a lot, but I just do what I love. Like, if I like the product, I'll do a video on it, and that's just what I'm gonna roll with for now. And I know you do the same too. So.
Yeah, I mean, and also, like, the timing of events, and look, if I think, for me and you, we're both fortunate to even get early access to Apple content. Like, I used to work at, a big publication, and then when I went independent, it's not like Apple's like, hey, we want to work with you, we want to give you early access to content. I just had to grind, and at least, I feel lucky enough to get it, but it still doesn't change how I'm gonna, portray, use, critique the product. The benefit is that we're both in the ecosystem, so it's kind of like, oh yeah, as time has gone on, it's hard once you're in the ecosystem to not enjoy, like, oh, they made this work with this, or just even something as simple as AirDrop, where unless there's any type of equivalent to AirDrop, I mean, there are some apps on the Android side. From a work perspective, the fact that these cameras on our phones are so good, I can just do a shot or two, AirDrop it, and put it in my timeline in my video, and it surprised me that no one says, oh, that shot looked really crappy or different. No one's complaining about that, and it came from my iPhone or it came from the DSLR. So that, even being able to do that as a person who, you and I are both doing this as a video creator for a living, that's important.
Exactly. It's just like the ease of everything. I was thinking about iPhone a lot recently. I'm like, dang, I was, like, just taking some, like, shots with my family over the weekend, just, like, photos and video. And I'm like, why don't I use this more for video? Because it's just it's so good. But then, like, to get that, like, the ease of just, like, in your pocket, shoot it. Yeah, no, I completely agree.
And for people that are listening or watching, Krystal's actually not even at home. She decided to, open up some of her time to do this, to talk M1 iMac with me, and she's visiting family in an undisclosed location, unless you follow her. But I mean, so I appreciate you putting in the time to, like, do this and just kind of hang out. Any other stuff? The iMac had a bunch of colors. I know the color that you got.
I know the color that you got.
And that's the same color that I got. We got the purple. So I'm curious, what was your second choice? If you had to pick, like, what was your second one?
It's true, because after, like, seeing more videos, like, immediately I was going to either do purple or green. Like, green was my
me too
follow-up color. But then I saw the yellow in videos. I'm like, wow, that's like really different and pretty. So the yellow looks cool too. But it was between purple and green for me.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, it was always purple and green. But which of the colors is the one you don't like the most?
Oh, damn. Let me think.
Because colors is so opinion, right? There's so
I
much
know,
emotion
there's
and
so
opinions
many.
around colors. Everyone's different. Which one did you think did not work for you?
I think, like, I don't want to say, like, the silver one is just
You're not hating on it.
I'm not hating on it. The silver one is just so, like, you know, like, it's so... Like, there's no spice to it. Like, you see all these beautiful colors. Whoever gets the silver one, no offense, like, no shade. But it's just not that exciting to me. They're all beautiful, though. And I think after that, like, I wanted to also like the pink one because it's like, it's pink and red, but I think it's too much red on the back. If it was like less red, even though I'm wearing a red Apple Watch, so that would have matched well. But yeah, I think the silver is my least favorite out of all of them.
See, this is to exactly the point that we're kind of speaking on. The fact that you considered the red of the iMac, although not really matching the pink, still matches your watch, and you're like, that makes you even consider it, right?
Yep.
This whole
God, it did make me
color
consider
ecosystem, right?
I mean,
it's
it
in
matters.
your brain, right? It totally matters.
It is.
If there was a color that that they didn't do that you would have wanted, which one would that have been?
The color they didn't do.
These are really hard pressing questions.
Yeah,
Krystal,
oh my gosh, I know. Like,
crazy.
You're hitting with the questions.
What did you get yourself into?
Oh my god, no. I think I feel like they hit every color I wanted because I wanted to see like the green, like sage. It would be cool to like down the line. I don't know. I'm like all over the place, but like the two-tone color thing was cool. So I'm like trying to think because you kind of get like two colors in one with one color, you know. I don't know. Maybe a more, like, deeper purple would have been nice. Even though...
Like, not this kind of lighter violet-y one.
Yeah, like this is pretty.
Like a purple.
Yeah. I've been, like, wanting to see that from back, like, when the iPhone 13 rumors and, like, seeing... And then we got the purple phone, but it wasn't exactly the purple. It was still pretty, but, you know, a deep, intense purple would be cool.
Dude, I think we are color spirit animals because I'm just like... That's exactly what I was thinking. I'm like, yeah, I'm like, oh, that's nice, but it's not really purple. Like,
yeah.
You know, it's purple. It's violet-y purple, but not purple.
It looks blue in some lighting. It looks silver in some lighting. So it's very like muted.
It totally does.
But what was your? I want to know your least favorite now. I'm throwing the question back to you.
Well, see, I was gonna press you harder because I'm like, oh, well, silver's not really a color. I'm just kidding.
That's true. You could have done that. That is true. That's fair.
I love orange. I think the orange is interesting.
I forgot about the orange one.
I don't know if it necessarily. See, it was so significant for you. I don't know if it necessarily works, but I do like it. Right? I think some of it has to come into play is the environment that you use it in. Right?
Yeah.
So I really love the yellow seen in a person, but I think it would stick out like an eyesore depending on my like where I imagine putting it. If I actually wish the pink wasn't a pink red, I wish it was a pink.
Yeah.
Like a more deeper pink and then a lighter pink. Like I have no problem with pink. I love pink. I mean, I love colors personally. So I think that would have been kind of cool. Like who knows? They're probably gonna release some like limited pink edition, right? Like down the road. They could easily just put out a new color and everyone's going to freak out because we've seen them do this with iPhones in the past, right? Release a color like 6 months later and everyone's like, oh, like what?
Should have waited.
You know, maybe then, yeah, like maybe everyone was so mad that there wasn't a space gray M1 iMac. And, you know, we're expecting that there's going to be some sort of a Pro larger screen version of, you know, sometime this year or eventually. I mean, they could literally just drop a bomb in 6 months and be like, oh, the color you all have been waiting for, and it's a space gray iMac. And then all those, I don't want to say dudes, but in general dudes, from what I saw, are going to be like, oh, they got space gray. I love the M1 iMac now. Yep. Oh, come on now. Come on.
It's just a color for them.
Yeah, it was just color. Let's talk about things you wish the iMac had. I mean, obviously there is no perfect machine for anyone ever, but for you personally, were there any things where so far it's fallen short or you wish it had?
Not falling short. I think like in the future, if there's like a more like another iMac Pro iteration of these, definitely like implementing the XDR display, like what they're doing with the iPad would be nice. Because like I feel like everything's moving to HDR. I want to do more HDR content, so it'd be cool to like have that in there too. But yeah, I think that's like the main thing for me. Yeah, I guess just like a more pro, like just like even higher storage options, like 4 TB and up, and like I think that'd be cool. Just all of that included in one. But
It's like you and I are both thinking all the things that aren't on this would be great on a pro model if you're going to do a pro model.
Exactly.
Do you miss, maybe it doesn't affect you because you're using different storage, but do you wish they had an SD card? Because for me, I really wish it had an SD card slot.
Yeah, I'm back and forth because I've gotten so used to, that'd be nice. No, I'm going to like take that back and completely, no, it would be nice.
Right. Actually, correction.
No,
correction.
you're right.
There are no rules here, Krystal. I'm not.
I like currently
right.
have like the dongle through the back, so yeah.
I was like, dude, a dongle on the back of this thing looks so ugly.
I know.
It's like not matched in color, and that matters. I'm sorry, y'all. It's like bleh, hanging off the side. I'm like,
when I was like setting up this
so
shot, like I brought from the desk to like I'm like on the coffee table life right now. And like I forgot it was connected. It was just like hitting everything. It's just a mess.
What do you think about the portability of the iMac? I mean, that was the thing that surprised me. We knew that it was gonna be thin, but when I picked it up, I'm like, damn, I could really take this anywhere. And what do you think about that? Like, does that come into play? Meaning you're actually using it just that way. You threw it on your coffee table. So what do you think? Is that an understated aspect of this for you, or it doesn't make that much of an impact for you? I'm just curious.
Yeah, it really does. It makes it more like definitely like more versatile around the house. I think the way that they like showed it from room to room is like it was awesome. Like that's why I did like my like sister Gabby's cover, just like we just plopped it on the ground and just recorded. So it's cool. I think that's a really great like use to like our point to having this machine. I'm like trying to think where else I'm going to take it, because we were actually debating like of taking it outside because there's some power outlets. I'm like, wait, should we like work outside with it? It's so beautiful this time of year. But yeah, I love that. I love that side of it. And I was gonna like not to cut you off, but the picking it up the first time, like it was confusing because the box is so heavy. I'm like, dang, this box has some weight to it. Maybe it's not as portable, but yeah, it was definitely shocking to actually feel it.
Yeah, it weighs under 10 pounds, and I was thinking the same thing. Like we have a backyard area where there's like whatever, a few places to sit in and just put it there, and it almost seems so like something that you wouldn't do, but why not?
Exactly.
Right? And that's when people wrote in some of my comments like, why would I move my desktop around? And I said, why not if you have that option? It just seems like, again, people have been so used to thinking a certain way. I'm not saying like I'm not trying to ride this like Apple does everything amazing, but when you have any type in life, when you have options and there's a why not, then why not try it? And you might actually like it, right?
Exactly.
So putting an iMac outside, I love that idea, on a nice summer/spring day and just doing work outside, because being in a room with unnatural lighting like for hours like we do because of what we do is probably not the best. And man, maybe I should give that a try this summer, like honestly.
No, same. I'm like, I spent way too much time indoors last year. I need to like get the sun back in my life. I finally am getting my watch tan back after not being outside. No, so I completely probably gonna try that sooner than we'll see. Even though it is allergy season right now, so I'm like debating that. But yeah.
You're all, look out. Wait, do you suffer from allergies?
Oh
like
God,
I
forgot that I did until I came back here. I was like, everything's blossoming in the air. I have like my Claritin on deck all the time now.
So just some other questions about being a creator and in general, I think everyone's journey is different. And so I'm curious for you, from your perspective, And we kind of talked about even just this whole idea of like, why not? Now we talked about why not for the iMac, but being a creator, being able to make content like this, I mean, at least when I was growing up, this was not even an option that you thought of as a career or as a possibility. So for you, how have you seen like being a creator, and you've done it for quite a while? How has it evolved, and what kind of still stands out for you?
It's definitely like, it's so weird thinking of the journey because it kind of just like happens. Like I was still in school at the time, like in college, like studying, like doing YouTube on the side. I was like, I'll just like go full force into this and give it a shot. But yeah, over the course of everything, I think is definitely a lot more accepted now. Explaining to like family and like friends, like, oh, what I do is like so much easier. Like, oh, okay, you're like one of those like internet, like social media. And I really don't like, every time people like somebody says that, I really don't think of myself as like ultra social. Like there's probably more that I can be doing. But no, I think it's definitely, I just like the fact that it is easier to explain, or just more overall accepted. So
I mean, you've seen, look, big scale outlets are willing to work with, quote unquote, I don't like to use the word YouTubers, but sometimes it's easier to, right? But
yeah,
they're willing to directly work with people like you and myself, where you even rewind, what, maybe 5 years ago, 6 years ago? I don't think it was that accepted. It wasn't like, oh, these people have a more powerful voice or connection to an audience that cares about what they do. And now, I mean, almost every company is trying to work with creators and influencers to their specific audiences, because I think of it as like, if you had a campaign to spend $1 million and throw it on TV, you don't know who's going to get it, right?
yeah.
But if you spend $1 million with, let's say, 100 influencers to that specific target you're trying to get, that's going to be probably a lot better to do.
Yeah, exactly.
And so there is, I guess, I don't want to use the word power per se, but it's definitely kind of tilted things and helped out people like yourself. Like in college, what were you actually potentially studying to major in before you did YouTube?
I was in graphic design, so it was just like all like just like digital design, and I think I probably would have like, I don't know where I would have ended up with that, but some design job in the city, because I was like, my whole college journey was like all over the place, but that's where I was last, and it was cool. It kind of like did blend in certain ways, like, oh, making like logos and all that, but I don't know. I have a love for it, but it wasn't my main thing for sure.
Well, we know that, you got those stills, got those YouTube stills, that graphic design comes in handy.
Oh, gosh.
You got those YouTube stills matter. So,
That's true.
I mean, that it kind of, right? So it actually did come and like,
yeah,
play
it
into
did help a little.
Like I think that, look, if people haven't started it already, there should have been a drinking game about how many times you and I have touched our AirPods during the course of this interview, because I'm pretty sure there'd be like 20 drinks in already, like at least.
It's bad. I know every time I do it, I'm like thinking about it too. So I'm like, oh no, I have to do it again.
No, but you don't want it to fall out. Like I try and just like wedge them in there and just like pray. And then when it gets loose, I'm like,
I'm like, really trying. Yeah, no.
So, anyways, Krystal, I just want to say thank you so much for your time and hanging out, and hopefully people kind of got to know a little bit more about you and everything. I mean, it's been fun seeing your journey. I remember, because we can talk about this, when I was working at my old place, there was a time where, I guess I'll say the name, CNET. I never say their name. It's just like a fun thing. Like, oh, that place I used to work at. There was a time where they were really trying to recruit some like YouTube talent. And I don't know if you remember, because a lot of things happened, but I was told they actually reached out to you. And here's the funny thing. When they told me that, I said, I hope she doesn't come over, because she's going to do a lot better on her own.
Oh.
And, I don't know what conversation happened. That's not important, but I'm glad if you remember them reaching out. I don't even know if you do or not. Do you?
I don't know if I do. I'm trying to think back. Wait, when did that happen?
That is so funny. You're all who?
No. I mean, we know who CNET is. I really, don't. I don't know if I remember.
That's awesome, because I'm glad. Like, that's awesome. That's hilarious. You're like, yeah, Brian, sorry, I can't help you. I don't even know what you're talking about.
No, but I feel that like that same. I feel like we had a similar journey in that sense. Like, I mean, it's definitely different, but like going from like Android Authority to my own thing, like that was like a whole, definitely a big chunk of the whole start because I kind of just like leaped right into that before working on my own stuff. And then like I realized like, wait, like I'm not doing this right. I kind of got to like focus more on my stuff at the time because it was still like hobby, like entry level, just like starting out. So I completely feel it's definitely a complete different thing, like just doing it on your own with your own name attached to it and everything. So I respect that with your choice too, just like leaping forward and doing your own thing.
The respect goes back and forth. I mean, I've said this before. I always respected YouTubers understanding the production process, but until you actually do it for a living, whether you're on your own or there's some people that have grown to the size where they have teams, but until you're doing it and living it every day, I mean, my respect went up like 50 times higher because of just what it takes mentally, also the time, like, oh, guess what, guys? We're our accountants. We're our business managers. Mm-hmm. We're our content creators. We're for the most part, our writers, shooters, and editors, just in case you didn't know, and so that's why, I love people able to kind of get a more human side and real perspective of it, talking to different amazing creators like yourself, because yeah, we're not saying, oh, we work so hard, because everyone works hard, but it's a different beast. It's a different beast, but it's also really rewarding. I mean, how do you feel about kind of the reward versus the work aspect of it?
Yeah, no, definitely. It's the same thing. I was like breaking that down to like my mom the other day because it's like there's just like a lot, especially being here, like visiting family, is like trying to juggle everything is something else. But I'm like, wait, I have to do this and this and this and this. But no, I completely agree with you. Like the end product, just like knowing like you're putting your work out there, putting yourself out there is super, super rewarding.
Is there any words of advice or encouragement you might have for people that are watching? I think there's a lot of people in life, even my peers, who have at one point or another had a decision to try and jump and try something new or something they haven't done before. And look, I think the reality is also that bills have to be paid. So I'm not saying, hey, there's people in situations where they are literally the only income for their family, right? So we're fortunate enough to be in the position to even really do this. But are there any words of encouragement maybe, or that you would say to people who want to try and, do creative content like this?
Yeah. I was like, I think the first, like, most important thing is to, like, not be, like, super hard on yourself and, like, go with the paces and just, like, take your time with it all. Because, like, jumping into anything too quick if you're not ready it's not going to be, like, the right fit for you. So you just got to just, like, go for it, but, like, be easy on yourself. Take things chill. Don't go too hard because it's definitely a very, like, mental taxing job, and you gotta be all in it to go forward with it. So I don't know if that makes sense, but in my head it did.
It did make sense. It's good. It's good. Right. So, Krystal, thank you so much for hanging out and talking to iMac. Quick thing, I'm not saying you have to, and maybe you haven't thought about this. Scale 1 to 10, how would you rate the iMac personally? Somewhere in there for you.
1 to 10, I'll give it a 8.7.
I seriously was like, I'm thinking high 8s. I don't want to say 9. That's a little, but a high 8. That's good.
Perfect. We're on the same wavelength again.
Yeah. We were purple.
The purple, the colors.
We're right here.
Yes.
All right, Krystal, could you just tell everyone again where they can find your content, just to remind them?
Yes, you can find me on YouTube. It's Krystal Lora, Instagram Krystal Lora, and Twitter Lora_Krystal.
Excellent. All right. Well, enjoy the rest of your time with your family.
Thank you.
We'll talk soon, and eventually I know we'll end up going to events and seeing each other
again. I know.
Again.
I can't wait for that time
Krystal.
again.
So awesome.
Can't wait for that.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. All right. We'll see you soon.
See ya. Yay.
Yay.